What up, YouTubers, Facebookers, party people alike? This is Clay with Clay's AC and Auto Repair and Clay Motion here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And this is the Clay Way. Super stoked because I'm going to show you one of my very treasured secrets. This is awesome stuff. So if it is, please subscribe, click the notification, share my videos, send me your wonderful comments. You can keep the nasty ones to yourself. I don't really care. You can reach out to me on Clay's AC and Auto Repair on the Facebook if you got a question for me, and if it's automotive related, I can probably answer it. If it's about your baby mama drama, I probably can't help, and believe me, we're both broke. All right, so all of us who've worked on cars for a long time have had dipstick tubes break off inside the engine block. Now, in this particular situation, even though it doesn't matter, I've done this on Fords, I've done it on Chevys, I've done it on Dodges. I haven't done it to your mom, but give me time. All right, so the dipstick tube is broken off in this engine. No, you do not have to have your engine removed. We just happen to have it removed. And luckily, I tried to pull the dipstick because it was the wrong one for the application that I'm using, blah, blah, blah. And it broke off inside the engine block. I didn't do it purposely, but I knew I could make this video because I did this years ago, and it worked out so sweet. I'm gonna share it with you. Sorry for the long intro, but I absolutely love this. This is actually easy. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to find yourself a tap. In my situation, I'm going to use 11 millimeter. You're going to need a bolt and a couple nuts from the hardware store, and we're going to need a sleeve collar. And just to give you an idea of what we're going to do, we're going to tap out the hole, and we don't want to use a really big tap. We just want it to make the threads inside the hole there. And we don't want it to really go through the side of the thing. So we're going to tap that out. And then, if you can kind of envision this in your mind, and I'll show it to you here in a moment, we're going to take a bolt, and we're going to have a collar like a sleeve on there. And on one end of the sleeve, there's going to be a nut, and on the other end of the sleeve, there's going to be a nut. When you screw the screw down in there, we're going to use this nut that's going to be down here to tighten up against that. Now, the sleeve has to go over the nut because the sleeve is going to be your pry mechanism, all right? It's going to actually pull, it's going to be made as an extractor, so the one nut needs to be able to go through the sleeve, and then the other nut at the top doesn't. So we'll use a washer on the top one, and we'll get a sleeve that's approximately this size right here. They'll probably fit around this barrel right here, maybe a socket or something like that, and that we can actually pull this out, because you're only going to have to pull it so far. More than likely what's happened is you've got a little bit of rust inside the O-ring, and it's not allowing that to come out, and that's why you broke it off like mine. So in order to hold the shank of that, you're hopefully going to have a little bit exposed up out of there so you can turn in the thread puller, and you're just going to lightly put the vice grips on it. You don't want it to spin down inside there. You just want to tap out this hole, and if it turns to find out that your tap is not large enough, and I'm using an 11 millimeter, then you're going to go ahead and get just a little bit larger tap, but you do not want to break through the walls of this because the object is to pull the whole thing out at one time. Because this is pretty sturdy, I just took a really sharp tip screwdriver and I put a hole in it kind of like that, and then I was able to pry it up. I'm still going to show you the other method that I was talking about, because now I can get it up. Because if you distort this, you definitely will not be able to get a tap inside there. But the problem with this particular one is it was spinning inside the collar when I was trying to tap it out, and I couldn't really hold it, so I had started taking the screwdriver and prying up the corners so I had a little bit more of something to grab onto with my vice grips. But that's going to remove this one, and I'll show you here in a second. Okay, so let's see how this goes. Hey, you're not supposed to swear while I'm making video. Oh, the top of it broke off. That's really nice. Okay, here we go. We're going to try to extract the O-ring out of here because that was only half of it. Got a pick. Okay, so I pulled the O-ring out of there with the pick tool because the two halves broke apart. Now I've fashioned this thing out of a cotter pin, and hopefully I can stick it down to the bottom of here and hook this. But it's not quite long enough, I don't think. So I'm going to have to because if I push the tap in there now without the top part being on there, it's going to push it down in the oil pan, which probably wouldn't be a big deal, but it may be. There should be a cover between here and there, so it would never get up into the crank, but we don't want that left inside the engine block. So we're going to have to find a pick tool somewhat similar to this that's got a little bit more length on it. I might have to go to the store. I can't find any of my tiny ones. That'll go down to the end of the dipstick tube down inside there and grab the bottom of that. Okay, so I've got a pick tool, and I'm going to try to just grab on this little ledge that's down inside there, and I'll show it to you when I pull it out. And I'll also show you that I was talking about doing that. I think I can get this thing out now. I can't get to all the way to the bottom with it, but it's definitely coming up. I'm just kind of working it around in the hole and trying to slide it out, but it had a bunch of gunk and stuff in there. If I can get it without totally destroying the pick tool, would be ideal. I wanted to show you guys how I was doing this. So I get the pick tool in there, and I will grab it around that ridge and yank up with it. I'm kind of going to work it around different locations and pull up just a little bit each time to get it out of there, and I'm sure I'll be successful, and I'm sure you will too. If it wasn't pushing down in there, I'd be using my method, but I broke the end of it off, and that allows it to fall down inside, and we don't want that. Try to avoid it as much as possible, but if we can get a couple little grabs on it, maybe throw a little bit of penetrant inside there, a little bit slipperier, slipperier, making up my own vocabulary again. Trying not to tear off the ends of it and just trying to work it up a little bit. Gosh, this is ridiculous. Okay, as you can see, we pretty much got it up out of there. And what I did was I took the pick tool a little bit longer. I ran it all the way down, and then I just pulled it up. And you could kind of feel it, like whatever. And then I just took it and worked it around and kept pulling up with it on there in a 360-degree circle, and I got it up enough to where I should be able to take the vice grips and pull it out. Don't worry, I'm still going to show you the extractor method. I won't be able to physically show you me doing it, but I still can show it to you. So go ahead and get the rest of this out of here so I don't have to dilly-dally with it anymore, but hopefully get the rest of it out of here. That stubborn mule, you know, I mean, these things, they just do this stuff, and you know, and I've done this, I've made this tool a couple times. Can't tell you what I do with them because I lose them or something. But she's out. Wasn't that much in there, to be honest with you. She's out. Now I'm going to show you what I was talking about with the tool and explain it to you and show you how to get it out with that. Okay, so the simple synopsis of how this would work is you take like some kind of collared piece. Now we're going to use a socket for the demonstration purposes, and we would put a bolt in there that was threaded all the way up with the nut right here, and then this would set up against there. Now with your new dipstick tube, you would have to make sure that the dipstick tube will pull through the shaft, whatever shaft it is that you use. You could just go to the hardware store and pick up a collar that you know your dipstick tube fits through and will slide through easily. And then you would put that down. Once you've tapped it out, you would put it right down here like this, And with your nut being there, you would thread this down into your dipstick tube, your broken off dipstick tube. And with the nut being there, you would hold this part and start turning the nut down, and then that would gradually pull it out of there. I swear to you on my kids, until I made this video, that has worked every time, and I've been able to do it. And that's probably, 10 times at least I've done that over the past 25 years. Why it wouldn't work this time, I don't know. The spindle started spinning there, but once I was able to get the top part broken off out of there, and I did that with the drill, and I drilled through there just a little bit to break the little lip that's on the end of there. Look on your new dipstick tube and you'll know what I'm talking about. Then I got that top part off, and then the bottom part just slid out once I cleaned out all the crud down inside the hole. I hope the information's helpful for you, at least. It gives you an idea of what to do, opposed to taking the oil pan off. Most of the time you can't take the oil pans off of these because in the V6 version of these, they're like bolted through the side, and you have to remove the whole engine to do it. Generally, you can do this down in the engine bay. More than likely, if you broke your dipstick tube off, you probably we're doing some pretty serious service. They don't just break off. Sometimes they get rusty and break off, but the few people that this information is going to help, I'm sure it's going to be worth the time that I took to make you guys this video. God bless you guys. Please subscribe, share my videos. Don't be the next to them, be the first to you, and if anybody else can do it, you can too. Have a great day.